Welcome to the Tiny Bites of Business podcast, where we take practical, implementable tools and strategies and pack them into bite-sized episodes. I'm your host, Sarah Wooden. Let's talk about systems, streamlining, and business strategy. Welcome to another episode. I thought we'd get on with a little bit of techie stuff today and look at the technical side of how to audit a specific program. And I think that we should start with email marketing, because that is something that I'm seeing a lot at the moment, is people coming through, at least in my inquiries, asking for support in auditing email marketing. So let's have a little bit of a look at this. There's a couple key figures that you really should be taking a look at. So start by making a Word document, Canva document, and writing all these figures down. Write down what program you are using and how much it is costing you, and if you enjoy using it. There are so many people who are paying for an email marketing system and they are not sending emails or using any workflows or automations because the software scares them. So note if you like this software, or if perhaps you might need some other tools in front of you. So do that first. Next, I want you to write down how many people you currently have on your list and how often you are emailing them. Understand those couple factors. Now let's write down some simple things. How many lists do you have? How many groups, segments, tags, depending upon the program you use, will depend on the wording that is being used. But look at how many lists and groups, so how many different collections of people you have. Any micro tagging on there, so do you have dynamic segments or tags to actually identify different behaviors of people? How many forms do you have? How many pop-ups do you have? How many automations are running? Just take a look at those numbers to start with. Now we can start looking at some of the benchmark stuff to have a look at how things are performing. So if you go into Google and Google email marketing benchmarks for the year, so 2024 at the moment, 2025, whatever it's going to be, you'll get a whole bunch of different options that pop up. They're all going to be drawing data from similar places, so they'll all be fairly similar. I really like the MailerLite blog because it breaks it down really well, but there are other ones out there as well. So open that up. You'll see that there will be an average benchmark across all industries, and then there will also be micro segments based upon industry. So you'll have like teaching, and you will have e-commerce, and you will have mine has gone blank, real estate, and you will have different segments within that. So you can look at the overarching benchmark across all email marketing, or you can have a look at your specific industry, because there are some variations, but they're not that different. So today I'm just going to be talking about that overarching benchmark. So the overarching open rate is currently sitting at about 41%. Anything less than this might be an indicator that your email frequency is not right, or your subject names are not right, or that your email is going into junk and people aren't seeing it. So make sure you've checked on authentication, make sure that you're following all of the guidelines around anti-spam rules and all that sort of stuff. So if your open rate is sitting under 40%, something's not right there. Either your title, your subject lines are wrong, your frequency is wrong, maybe you're sending too much, or maybe your emails are going to junk. The next thing to have a look at is your average click rate. So there's two different click rates you'll see people talk about. One is the click rate. This is how many people from your email list clicked on the email, or what the ratio of clicks was. The other one is the click to open rate, which is from the people who bothered to open your email, how many of them clicked the call to action and did the next thing? How many of them clicked the button to book a call with you, clicked the button to have a look at the program, clicked to come over and chat with you on Instagram, whatever CDA you had in there. So they're the two different figures. Depending upon the software that you use will depend which figure it shows you on the dashboard. So we're going to see the click rate at about 3%. We want to see the click-through rate at around 7%. So this means that if you have 100 people on your email list and 40% of them opened it, that of that 40%, we should see 7% of them clicking through. The next thing to look at is your unsubscribe rate. The current unsubscribe rate is currently sitting at about 0.2%, but this changes significantly based upon even what day of the week you send the emails on. There will be spikes in the unsubscribe rates depending upon which day of the week the emails go out. What time the emails go out as well will change it. How frequently you send emails out. If you are sending more than 2 emails a week, you might get a higher unsubscribe rate. If you go through a specific launch where people weren't given the option to opt out of that launch, you might get a higher unsubscribe rate. If you have niched down to talk about a particular topic that might not be interesting for your entire list or might be uncomfortable for the entire list, you'll see a higher unsubscribe rate as well. So while that 0.2% is a benchmark, keep in mind that it's not something to get too hung up on, as long as we are being really clear in who we are, what we do, and how we serve, because the people who unsubscribe, they probably weren't going to buy from you anyway. Having said that, though, make sure you're not spamming people, and that doesn't feel congruent. That doesn't feel heart-centered or consent-based marketing. So make sure you're following practices that leave people feeling good. Give them an option to opt out. Let's take Mother's Day as an example. If someone has recently lost their mum, or if they have lost a child, they probably don't want your Mother's Day marketing. So give them an option to opt out, or they will unsubscribe. So balance being okay with unsubscribes because they might not be your ideal client anyway, with making sure you are using heart-centered marketing practices that leave your audience feeling good. And of course, you've got your bounce rate as well, which I have a feeling the listed industry benchmark at the moment is about 0.4%, but I think you'll be finding that mark is a whole lot higher with the recent Google authentication changes. Give it some time to settle. Make sure that you've done all the right things as far as authenticating. Make sure you are using a @domain email address. The current advice is to avoid a info @ or a hello @ and instead use a your name @ because this seems to be changing the bounce rates. The bounce rates do seem to be a little bit higher if you are using a more generic info @ admin @ inbox. So give that a go. I hope that has been... Oh, no, we've got more stuff to think about. Grab those numbers as well for your automations. So go through any open automations and have a look at those same rates, the open rates, the click-through rates, the unsubscribe rates. Have a look for where in that automation those things might be spiking. So if you've got a 5 email automation and after email 2, you get 30% of people unsubscribe, something went wrong right there. It might be that the emails were too close together, or that it really did not fit what they signed up for, or that you were pitching at them too hard, or, a whole bunch of other reasons. So have a look at those benchmarks for your automations as well. See if you can identify some patterns. Have a look at doing some test emails to yourself, seeing if did they show up in your inbox, did they get filtered to spam, all of those sorts of things. Have a look at your forms, how many people are actually filling them out, how many people are clicking on them. Have a look at all of that data. Now you've got a good baseline, and I just saw this episode is going a little bit long, so I'm sorry. But have a look at your baseline for what is actually happening in your email marketing system. Are people feeling nurtured? Are they staying? Are they unsubscribing? Are they clicking on your email content? Are they opening your emails? Have a look at all of that information. And then from there, you can make a plan on how you can do things better. Do you need to work on changing up your subject lines? Do you need to work on smoothing out your automations? Do you need to work on leaving people feeling nurtured in your emails? Let me know how you go with that one. We'll talk soon. Bye.